Bottom left-hand side in the TSL EU qualifier number 1 for TSL 7. That's the Team Liquid Star League, of course. This is going to be our red Zerg player Serral, knocked down here by Clem. And unfortunately, his lower bracket is going to be getting tough right away. His first match in the lower bracket is up against Reynor, who was knocked down to the lower bracket by Mana, and actually had to play a couple of rounds in the lower bracket to get here. But it has set up this Seed 1 versus Seed 3, if I'm not mistaken, in the bracket. And that is going to be exciting stuff. So again, one of these favorites is going to have to play again next week at least. This isn't a qualifying match. The round after this is a qualifying match. So this is not qualifying match. The round after is, which means that, like I say, at least one of them will have to play next week. If the winner of this goes on and loses today, then actually they're both going to have to play next week. And that's going to make for an extremely interesting qualifier too. It'll be interesting enough just having one of these back for a round 2 next week as well. So the last time I cast these two play was not so long ago, as in that NetEase Esports X tournament qualifier as well. We had a good time with that. I know the viewers on YouTube loved that one because we made a nice little clickbait title, but everyone said, you know, you got to make the clickbait titles when it's a mirror matchup. Otherwise, even Reynor or Serral, people are like, do I want to click on that? So we had to go a bit clickbaity, and to be fair, you guys seem to like it. And if you are watching on YouTube, do hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. If you enjoy the video, don't do it if you don't like the video. In fact, if you don't like it, hit the dislike button. You're allowed to do that too. I'm not trying to force you to do things. Anyways, so the last time they played in that matchup that I'm talking about and selling out on was very cheesy, very aggressive, and specifically from Reynor, a lot of aggressive stuff to try and win the games quickly and early, and it worked, and he definitely got into Serral's head. You know, an early aggressive attempt turned into a bit of macro, that at least that's what Serral thought, but no, there was a follow-up attack, and Reynor just waited and waited and waited, and Serral had no idea. So we'll see what tricks Reynor has up his sleeve at the moment. Serral is looking to break what has been a pretty rough streak against Reynor as well, if I'm not mistaken. He's had a bit of a tough time lately. Just want to double check exactly the results between the two of them. Sorry, that's why I've gone quiet momentarily. But just wanted to not say anything too incorrect. So Serral won the one map in the Champions Brawl, the best of one that they played. But other than that, Reynor has won the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 series that they played against each other. So in terms of best 3+, 5 matches in a row going the way of Reynor. Last time Serral won was in the winner bracket of the Doyu Cup, and that was in like August of last year. Only for Reynor to come back in that grand final and to win the whole thing anyway. So, and it feels like that's what started off this win streak of Reynor that is ongoing. Let's see if that can be broken today as Serral. Like I say, one map in that Champions Brawl. Whether you want to count the best of one as a series, I personally don't. You know, to me, that's just one map rather than counting it as a series per se. But, you know, at least it was a win from Serral. So yeah, we'll see what Serral can do in best of 3 action now. As it is going to be Serral to be a bit more aggressive initially, down by about 5 drones he sets up on this side of the map. He's droning behind this, but Reynor's droning too. And I don't know if Serral will get much done. Of course, there's Banes against Banes. A lot of this will come down to micro. There is more Banelings here from Serral, to be fair, than there is for Reynor. And he's going to waddle a couple of them towards the natural, which is wide open. The Queen's too far to position over here, so that's going to be drones in the natural in some trouble. Ooh, Serral nearly eating a huge connection there as Reynor doesn't realize his drones are still stacked, but Serral misses! Oh no, my goodness, Serral hits 2 different sets of drones with the Baneling and doesn't get any kills! Serral, absolute disaster in the natural expansion of Reynor. That should have been at least 4 to 6 drones dead. Instead, we've got absolutely none of them dying and just low HP, but no way to capitalize. No Lings sneaking into that natural, and Reynor dodges a Baneling-shaped bullet right there. That could have been truly a lot more of a disaster than it already was. Alright, so Serral able to do okay with it in the end, though, is going to be seeing the Lings of Reynor coming around, a couple Lings going down. Reynor is going to be bringing these Zerglings down towards the bottom side, looking for a run into the 3rd base, looking to jump on this hatchery. Now Baneling trying to show up as well as a few Zerglings on the left. Also doing pretty decently with this. Swan Bane getting in, connecting. On the other side of the map, Serral just comes and scouts around the natural. Into the main base, gets to see the lair. The upgrade from Reynor started nice and quickly, whereas Serral's upgrade started way after the last. So Serral goes left first, then the upgrade, and let's see if he's got anything to do with this. I mean, he doesn't really have any gas in the bank, so it would seem like no, there isn't any real aggressive plans. And that just means that Reynor's going to get into Roach versus Roach, with there being a much better upgrade timing for himself. So having that +1 advantage, that will of course lead to a +2 advantage as well, typically, if you can afford that +2 on time. And that's why you're going to be pretty happy with where this game is at, as, you know, if you're Reynor right now. Serral escapes down the side. A couple of drones just went down. Looks like there was something left on that third base that I just missed out on. So 4 drones going down. Serral the one to deal some damage. He is much faster on that Roach speed as Reynor goes for massive drones. Again, he's going to take a huge worker lead. Serral looks like he's just cutting drones to go all in. And just aiming at the +1 missiles Roach speed timing. Oh, Reynor's going to start a Spire as well. He might be in some trouble. Serral has not been droned for a little while. 56 drones. Pretty much not quite full saturation, but it's near to full saturation at this stage of the game. You're missing a few drones off these minerals on the third. But you can see all the things he's missing. No 4th base, right? You know, no 4th base. For example, you can see Reynor investing in the Spire. Reynor, that Roach speed is very late. Now, good news is defensively that doesn't matter as much, but it will still have some impact, being able to reinforce a little faster, being able to rally your units or position your units a bit better. I'm a little worried for Reynor. And again, those upgrades are going to be dead even too, because he's prioritizing the Spire over anything else. And you know what? Serral actually has a good chunk of the map he can cross with Roaches without being seen too, so that might be something else to look at here. If you go all the way up this side, the first time Reynor sees this is when your units as Serral are basically in the middle of the map already. Reynor sees it right now. He is already building some Roaches. He just started +2. His Spire has just been cancelled, and he's going to start building Spines. So he realizes the situation that he's in, and Serral shows up. He's going to come straight across, chasing down this initial Roach, which is out of the position. And you know what? This Roach Warren in the front is going to be in some trouble as well. Serral is going to go toward the third base, so he's actually going to rally over here to begin with. Maybe just doesn't want to deal with all of those Spines in the natural, as the Bane's got to decide what they want to do. Just going to come in, hitting a lot of the drones. 17 workers die instantly. Now Serral's going to turn and jump on these Ravagers. Ravagers taking a ton of damage, dodging away from these couple of biles, and Reynor was not prepared for this at all. Realized it way too late. The cancel of the Spire happened way too late. Even with these Spine Crawlers now, you're not going to defend the third base, right? And Serral just comes marching on through to pick up the first map here against Reynor. Serral 1, Reynor up by 1. Our red Zerg player looking pretty dominant in that first game. He really controlled the pacing. He said what he wanted to do, and he got it done. Only real mistake was when he could have killed a few drones earlier, and he missed that opportunity. This is Serral in the top right-hand side of Atmospheres. 2,000 Atmospheres. He is our red Zerg player in this best of 3 ZvZ. Bottom left, our blue Zerg player from Clash is Reynor. Picked off by an early game all in. I want to say, I say early game, it's like very early mid-game as well, right? 56 drones. It's kind of mid-game economy, but you literally go to that mid-game economy and instantly all in off of it, you know? I guess it's mid-game, there's road speed, there's all that, but yeah, a very early attack that just catches Reynor off, and just as he's trying to do everything the other way, and he just didn't have any scouting on it, you know? Serral denied the scouting well. He used his own lings to keep the lings of Reynor busy. He had an overload path cleared, so Reynor didn't even see it until this army was halfway through the map. And these were all things that added up massively, of course, into Serral's favor, and hence Reynor was, again, late to cancel that Spire, late to do pretty much anything else so that would have helped him defend. And unfortunately, in the world of ZvZ, you just can't be late on those kind of things, hell, else you will be in some trouble. Hey, Fire RR, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting the channel today, as we just hope to go into this game too with some... I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing some... if we're going to be seeing some mind games. Excited to see if Reynor gets to fight back. Excited to see some macro between these two. Jeez. Last few games these guys played, it's all been like sub 10 minutes. It's been very, very aggressive again and again and again. Zerglings are going to make their way out onto the map. Get this started off. As we go scouting on down. Link speed and the hatchery coming through on the third base. And for the moment, we do sit mirrored. One extra drone on the way from Reynor. He starts a baneling nest from Serral. And this is still mirrored. Zerglings on the way out. It's still not really like super aggressive or anything though, right? It's not like we're cutting like a whole bunch of drones to try and make this happen. Wouldn't be too worried about this just yet. On either side, see Evo Chamber on the way up. From both as well. And they obviously both just have a very similar idea of where they want to go to right now. Flare on the way for Serral is. Zergling gets picked off. Other fuelings and a mailing just hanging around. And that one link comes up to the top side. Melee upgrade coming in the Evo Chamber missiles from Reynor on the natural as well. And just getting this set up and ready to go. Queen going to be finishing up on the third base. And that completed. Now, obviously, melee versus missiles does mean that Serral's got something interesting planned here. Typically, this is going to be mutas. You can see him going up to 4 gases right away as well as the lair is done. Imagine that Spire's about to drop down at 200 gas. There it is. So, Spire versus Roaches. Serral on the Mutalisks. Try and come up with a win in this best of 3. And Reynor's just droning hardcore. He is fully committed to his roach play. Absolutely wants to get this set up in the best strength that he can. And that's how he will continue to approach for the moment. Overload around the top side. These feelings going to go running in. That single Zerglin of Reynor going across as well. The Spire is on the way up from Serral. As mentioned, waiting for this to come through. And what's Reynor really doing here is he gets his own lair. I mean, it looks like it'll just be roach speed. And, I mean, off 64 drones, not like he's looking to hit a roach timing or anything, right? No, roach speed would not be in time for that at all. So he's just going to have to play against these mutas without being able to do anything aggressive against them initially. He sends an Overseer in. Where is the Spire? Back of the main. So you'll get a slight pre-warning about this. And I really do mean a slight pre-warning as you move on in. The Spire is going to be finishing up. Complete. That Overseer is able to see that Spire as well. So as mentioned, able to get that scout off, able to pick up that info. Queen's going to put the damage out. That Overseer taking damage as well. As a couple of drones get picked off down on this bottom side. So a couple of drones getting sniped down. And just seeing the +1 flyer attack, +2 missiles. All of this continuing to make its way in. That Hydra Den coming up too. So obviously at this stage you want as Reynor to get into that Hydra Den, get into anti-air. Spores are on the way up. Serral starts to take down an Overlord or 2. Now this is where Serral is able to start taking more of the map. He's going to have the map control with those Mutalisks. So being able to take more of this map, take the Overlords down, take away map vision of Reynor. And he's going to commit to mutas as well. They are going to continue to build here. The Zerglings come out, passing by this watchtower, holding out on that. Look, then an infestation pit on the way as Reynor just says, right, well, it's going to be this kind of game. I'm going to have to camp up, settle down, and let this play into the later stages. Get my lurkers out to defend on my 3 bases, try and push towards the 4th at some stage. Once you go into the hive with this, you can get some parasitic bombs up. We'll see how many infestors he wants to make as well. If he wants to get a few fungal growths on the field just to try and lock those mutas down in position. Just hang back up the left-hand side. There comes a little drop lord on the way in. Needs me to show up. Gonna grab this overlord too, so able to take that down. And again, everything coming back around into the middle of the map. On the far right, this hatchery coming up too, so 5th hatch coming into play. Lurker Den is about to complete. Omega gets taken down. The additional lurkers just continuing up as well. The Queen also continuing through. And a carapace upgrade starting from Reynor, so getting the carapace upgrade up and ready to rumble. We have our mutas going to come around the upper left-hand side. And again, a lot of this, the Lings, the mutas, the Morphin, the Banes. A lot of this settling down to push into the bottom side of the map here. Going in, one Queen goes down, a lurker very nearly falling as well. Not quite just yet, though. More spores are going to set out, and just going to be seeing Serral. He's going to make his way around this right-hand side. So Muta's going to come through, pick off another Overlord. Spores setting up. Infestation Fate coming through from Serral as well. Really does just want to tech up himself behind this. Knows that you don't win this game purely off of the mutas. You know, you need something beyond the mutalist. As he's actually going to dive in. 1, 2 lurkers going down. He's eating a lot of anti-air damage here on the mutas from the spores, etc. But doing a good job with the drop in the main base we just saw the tail end of as well. Looking pretty good. Hive in the Hider Den. We'll continue up. +1 missiles on that Evo chamber. Everything is going to fill around the left side. You just have to back it up away from those couple creep tumors here. Going in for a couple of extra creep tumors right now as well. Now that sizing expands as we've mentioned before. So that's going to continue through. As in the bottom right, Ling Bane, Muta. Gonna push on through as well. I mean, plenty of lurkers here to help try and take down this Ling Bane, but seemingly not enough, as Reynor is just gonna have trouble getting rid of all the Banes before they hit on the drones. That's what the lurkers are meant to help you achieve. They're meant to give you safety against the ground force here from Serral, but yeah, 3 lurkers there was just not enough. These other few to the side were just not in position to begin with. And Serral is not just keeping Reynor on 3 bases. He's dealing damage to Reynor, who's on 3 bases. And that's, I think, is the big problem here for Reynor. You know, taking damage like this, I think it'd be okay if you're getting up to base number 4 and stuff, that kind of thing. That is absolutely not the situation right now, as Serral splits that 1 low HP Parasitic Bomb Muta away. There's another Muta here, which is Parasitic. He does pull that one away, though not quite as quickly. Couple of Vipers come peeling around the side. Ling Bane gonna come in once again. A lot of the Lings here gonna push on through. These Banes gonna tank some lurker shots. I feel like they don't do much, although the Lings do get rid of some Queens. Obviously, this is not as efficient a trade as from Serral, but he's also on 86 drones at the point where he doesn't really look for efficiency here at all. Those mutas are going to come flying back around this right-hand side, so around to the right they go. I'm going to go jumping in on these lurkers. 1 lurker, 2 lurkers going down. Parasitic Bomb again being dodged away here. Oh, well, not actually as well as before. Ooh. A lot of those mutas do fall low, and this maybe gives you a chance here as Reynor to come across the map. Now, Serral has lurkers, but well, Serral has lurkers, and Reynor just doesn't realize that, so he doesn't have an overseer with this army. And he is going to lose the 4th hatchery to the mutas countering. No cancel on that base either, so that is going to go down. Oh my goodness. Well, Reynor's going to pull his army back home, so the moment which looked like he might be able to get something done, and again, the reason you can get something done in that moment is because you're essentially in a, position that... How to explain this? You're essentially in a position where the mutas are low HP, so the mutas are like a threat that's removed from the game in those few moments. Obviously no longer, because now they've been able to heal up and so on, but Yeah, well, I say now they've been able to heal up. They're still healing up. They're still taking damage too. At this stage, Serral's been a little bit more lax with what he does with the mutas because he's obviously happy with the army that he's got back at home, and hence he doesn't feel like he needs to keep these mutas up. He's ready to transition more into lurkers and hydras and all sorts. This lurker over here is going to go for a bit of a run around to try and get a couple of drones. Doesn't do much. As Serral's upper base is looking as though it's going to go down. Serral's attention in terms of defense will not being placed there at all, so Serral not in position to deal with that. And that means he is going to lose out on a base. Now, he's still 5 bases against the attempting of going to 4 bases here, as the mutas will trade out with the final few Hydralisks. Maybe could have had a couple of additional drones there too, but there's a long way still to go for Reynor to equal this game out and even out the numbers that we're sat on. Lurker's burrowed up on that watchtower. Here comes Lurker Hydra. Pushing down to the south. A couple of shots going off. Spores in some trouble. And... well, I mean, at the same time, Serral's really maxed out. I mean, Serral should be looking to kind of go. He shouldn't be too afraid of taking a fight here, as this is bad. Obviously, these Lurkers are in some trouble, and they're all going to get picked off, all 4 of them that were just out of position. Now there's a Lurker over here from Serral that doesn't have detection on it either, so it's doing pretty well until... well, units actually get there. The detection's there now with the Spore Crawler, but... I mean, now it's actually going to get killed off. No, transfusion. Spines are going to try and move. Lurker's going to reposition back a square. This one Lurker has a tale to tell. It is going to get shot down by Hydras. Serral on his way to +3, +2. Another set of upgrades that Reynor is currently going to be lacking, but a counterattack from Reynor. Doing the little things to try and keep this game alive for him, because otherwise it has been a bit of a, a Serral-dominated game again, to be honest with you. We dive on in, these Lurkers get burrowed up, and those Roaches take a huge hit. So that is going to be all Serral needs to defend. He's going to deny this base once more, and the 3-base Reynor cannot possibly stay in this game much longer. He has got one army, and he's not going to have much rebuild behind it. That's going to be his problem. He's not going to have much rebuild behind it at all. Right now, Spine Crawlers are apparently slowing down this Hydra attack. Well, obviously sees that. He'll bring a couple of Lurkers up of his own. Now he's going to try and cut off this army as he tries to make it back. There's some Lurkers that are going to get into position. Remember that Serral and Reynor both have Vipers. They are very, very useful in these fights. Not Parasite Bombs. That's the one thing that's not useful in these fights. Abducts and Blinding Clouds. Both very good against Lurkers. Stopping them from firing the Blinding Clouds. Obviously just abducting Lurkers into your army, making them close range with the Abducts. Either of those options is a pretty good one, realistically, as we do see Hydra Lurker pushing up the right side. Some drones are going to be in trouble. This back and forth continues. A few more drones going down. Quite a few drones being called from Reynor as he tries to take the far left base. He actually had this one up. Oh, this one got denied again. Oh, that one Lurker just picked up a ton of drone kills. My goodness. He just got a lot of final hits on drones. Reynor's economy is just non-existent. This 3rd base is mining out. Natural is mining out. Main base is gone. You just don't have the income to keep rebuilding here. And that's the problem at the end of the day. Serral is even traded efficiently. When you look at it now, you can see that throughout Serral was maybe the one to drop down a little bit more in army supply a couple times, specifically around here and so on, but that didn't matter because he had the potential to rebuild. Obviously, this last fight went very badly for Reynor, but even if it went decently, the rebuild potential ain't there compared to Serral's 2k bank. And that's how Serral is pretty much going to hold this game out to a 2-0 victory, if I'm not mistaken, because Reynor needs more than what he has access to win this game at this stage. I mean, there is an army supply deficit, a base deficit, hence an economy deficit, and an upgrade deficit. There is nothing that's good for Reynor. The only thing he can win on now is something like this positioning. Right? Taking a fight that your opponent is not well positioned to take himself. That's why you can maybe offset some of those other advantages that Serral has. This is the one thing that doesn't come down to anything else that Serral already has, capable of using. The Serral abducts his own Overlord in there. Both Blinding Clouds come down from the side of Reynor. I mean, this was a dodgy moment for sure. And Serral loses some structures at the front, but even still, it's expensive for Reynor. All those Viper abducts coming in. Lurker's counterattack from Serral too, so Reynor will once again He pinned back down to 3 bases. He's also dealing damage over here with this Lurker, which will not quite finish off that Queen. I mean, yeah, Vipers right now are quite literally just coming in, abducted, and they're done. 8 Vipers, and that's why there's so many abducts available. Serral might even be able to keep these couple bases alive that were not necessarily looking too great. More Lurkers, doing decent, firing away. Abduct comes in. That's the Viper kill. Nicely handled. Multiple Lurkers continue to get taken down, so a bunch of Lurkers taking hits. That's going to be seeing the units of Reynor moving up this ramp. They throw her up as well. He's actually going to kill the Lurker 10. I mean, again, if it was in a situation where Serral needed to rebuild, but Reynor's down 100 supplies, it's not going to make the difference. Serral 2-0 over Reynor here. As ZvZ will go the way of Serral. He'll break the losing streak in pretty dominant fashion, because I do think these games were pretty convincing from Serral.